Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Week number 13, I think, in a row. Hey, we in that thing. Good with the bad. Intro to clip right here.
Please just enjoy your life. Please work as hard as you can to achieve the things you want. Right? Not everything is going to be given to you. A lot of things you're going to have to earn out here, and that's hard. You're going to have to be a hard worker. I'm a hard worker. A lot of people in the world are hard workers that want the best of the best, not only for themselves, for their family, all right? So all you kids out there, everybody that's my age or a little bit older, I want to say shout out to y'all. Salute to your progress.
Salute to the progress. 13 weeks strong of this thing right here that we got going on, this YouTube series. Welcome back to another episode. And today we got a lot to talk. Not every day is it where, just coming back from dropping your girl off at the airport after, a chill little weekend, hanging out, doing some things, catching some vibrations, trying to enjoy, life and all the things that come with it. Where, I'm just chilling at the crib now. I'm back at home and I'm scrolling and I'm on Twitter. I'm doom scrolling, something I've talked about on this show before. I'm doom scrolling. I'm just scrolling Twitter and I randomly pop up and I see a video. And the video has maybe 50 comments maybe, and it's a couple likes or whatever. But the person in the video is talking. And the person in the video is talking and sounding quite like me. Let me play the video right here for you. Chris Brown bigger than SZA?
Yes. What the hell? Really, Franklin? Are you really about to ask me that? Come on now, Chris been in the game for how long?
Right, I'm not saying overall, but right now he's not bigger than SZA.
Yes, bro.
No, he's not. Respectfully, I'm a Chris Brown stan. Can Chris Brown sell out arenas?
Yes.
No,
I'm pretty sure he has, bro. I'm gonna do the research, but I'm pretty sure he has.
I'm not saying that he hasn't. I know that he can, but right now his star isn't that bright to where he can sell out arenas by himself. My personal opinion. He can't. He can't. So I randomly was scrolling Twitter and that video is going viral. Context is everything that's needed in social media, but it takes away the fun from social media. So I'm getting dragged on Twitter right now. Everybody's cooking me, especially the CB pages. I think this page that posted it, I'm gonna shout them out. Y'all should go and follow them. I think they got a dope little page. Klintunez, KLINTUNEZ on Twitter. They're a media personality or whatever. It looks to be like a Chris Brown kind of stan account. Listen, that was my take when I was, arguing with my friend on a podcast 2 years ago, literally 2 years ago, arguing Chris Brown and SZA. And this is where, as a content creator, as somebody who wants to, engage thought and engage fans and get people talking and sharing their opinions, this is where you got to flat out be honest and be like, I was wrong. I was dead ass wrong. I got Chris Brown all the way wrong because at the time, I didn't think it wasn't. And when I was speaking in that clip, a lot of people were taking it personally, thinking that I was saying Chris Brown was not good enough to perform in arenas. People were thinking that I was saying he doesn't have a big enough fan base in order to perform in arenas and different things like that. I wasn't stating it like that. I was completely wrong in my estimates and the things that I was saying. I was dead ass wrong. So there is no explanation. The only thing I was trying to argue, but I wasn't articulating in the best degree, was that public perception wise, I think that SZA was just being well publicly perceived on a mass grandstand base than a Chris Brown at that time. So that's the only reason why. I get why the clip is going viral, because I sound crazy. And sometimes content creators, we gotta be honest. Sometimes we say things to provoke. Sometimes we say things to provoke, conversation, to provoke analysis, to provoke, people engaging with the content. And for that, I look at that clip and I look back and I say, job well done. I did what I was supposed to do. I said what I was supposed to say. Even if it's not showing me in the best light, even if it's not me, giving the most accurate, account for things, it's still getting people enraged and engaged in the content. And that is what we do social media for. So for that, I do not apologize. I don't take it down. I didn't even delete it because I wanted people to engage in it and interact with it because it boosts my engagement. And people don't understand the difference in that. But I'll get back to that later. But back to the main point at hand. This Chris Brown and SZA debate, which me and my good friend Malik were having 2 years ago. I want to say round of applause to both of them first and foremost, because they're two black R&B pop singers who are dominating, both still dominating, both still hitting records and, you know, moving and pushing the limits of R&B and pop music in a lot of ways. Like, they are killing it and staying true to themselves. I really enjoyed Chris Brown's last work. That Residuals song is a classic R&B song, if you ask me. He recently won a Grammy. SZA put out the SOS Deluxe, has been phenomenally, you know, just acclaimed. It's broken all types of records in black music and music in general. So round of applause to both of them. It was no reason for me to compare the two, but you understood at the moment why I was comparing the two. And this is what I will say when it comes to both Chris Brown and SZA. Both are the head leaders, male and female, in R&B. It's not a debate. Both are the head male and female leaders in R&B music. I enjoy both of their music. You're not talking to someone who only listens to SZA. You're not talking to someone who only listens to Chris Brown. I listen to Bryson. I listen to Summer. I listen to Giveon. I listen to, you know, it's a slew of R&B acts that I listen to on here. So I have a wide range, and that's why I'm able to like kind of give these takes and give my opinion. When it comes to both SZA and Chris Brown, even though I said that at the moment that Chris Brown wasn't able to sell out, he's not, this is that and the other, I was only stating it on public perception wise. And I've addressed that before. I'm kind of like Jay-Z. Niggas want my old takes, buy my old album. You want to hear what I said before? Go listen to that old podcast and hear more in context why I might have felt, why I felt that way, at least at that time. I do not feel like that anymore. I do believe Chris is the bigger act, but I think currently SZA's hotter. I will stand on that. I will argue any Chris Brown fan down. Chris Brown is the bigger artist. I was wrong when I was alluding that SZA is a bigger like name. She's not. She's not there yet, but she is on the precipice. She is like right on the cusp of being a world-renowned, bigger, even legendary act. The only thing that can get you into that type of legendary status is her continuing to dominate at this pace at a very high level for a longer amount of time. She just hasn't done it as long as Chris Brown. I was stating in current times, musically, one is hotter than the other solo. And what I mean by that is if they both put out an album today, one will sell more than the other, not because one is better than the other, but one is just more current in music at the moment because they are newer to a wider audience of people. People know Chris Brown. Chris Brown dedicated fans are going to go to him. People are just now being more open to SZA. She's just now getting the biggest of looks. You know what I mean? And rightfully so. Both are deserving of their spots at the top of R&B music. There's really no reason to compare them, but I will double and triple down on that take that right now, musically, I still believe that SZA is hotter musically. And when I say musically, I'm not saying that SZA is not as good or Chris Brown is not as good as SZA. I would still want a Chris Brown single. I would still want to, you know, work with somebody as talented, as gifted as a Chris Brown. I'm just saying general pop. I'm saying the masses of audiences. You look at somebody like a SZA, she just came off of the Super Bowl halftime performance with Kendrick Lamar. That's a huge deal. Okay, usually the person coming off of that might be a little bit hotter, especially the person who coming off of having a #1 album as long as she did. That's not out of the wazoo. That's not a crazy thing to say that that person is a little bit hotter than the person that's been out much longer. Okay, it's not a difference. It's like when people try to argue Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Yes, Taylor Swift is hotter and bigger artist right now. Does it mean she's better than Beyonce? Fuck no. Beyonce fans know that, but Beyonce fans respect. No, she got it right now. She's killing it right now. Hold it down. Are you Beyonce? Fuck no. No, and it's the same thing in this essence. I'm not saying that SZA is way bigger, but in this particular type of comparison, SZA would be almost like the Taylor Swift when it comes to numbers wise, and Chris Brown is more of the legacy act like a Beyonce when it comes to numbers wise. Now they both might drop things, but one is going to sell more than the other just because they are newer and more popping at the moment. It doesn't mean that the other one can't sell. It doesn't mean that the other one isn't as successful. It just means the current state of their popularity. It's the current state of their place in music. It's the current state of the urgency to hear new music from them. We've heard so much from Chris Brown. We haven't heard everything from someone like a SZA just yet. So that's just the reason why we are where we are. Both are exceptional, phenomenal artists, and I will stand on what I said before. And the reason why a lot of this was getting talk, and I want to touch on this too before, because it's a couple things that I wanted to talk about. It was just funny. Not every day you see yourself going viral for a take that's 2 years old. That literally, I've addressed that video, and it's 2 years old. So it's funny to see people like kind of hating on it and just kind of saying whatever. And I was telling a few people about it, and they were like, damn, they're getting real mean in the comments. Let me tell you this. Engagement is engagement. People are going to interact with it. I know I'm doing my job if people are doing that. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do if people are engaging in the content and if people are liking or doing whatever. Like, you're doing what you're supposed to do as a content creator if people are engaging in it. Let me give you a perfect example. Y'all have, I don't know, I don't understand exactly what y'all did exactly, but the way y'all have reacted to this Ashton Hall dude, he is now going to be an overnight probably super celebrity. He had over 1 billion interactions over this last week with his engagement on his social media, from his Instagram to his Twitter and all that. Y'all are blowing him up bigger than ever by hating on him. See, that's the one thing that haters on Twitter or on the internet don't understand. You still watched. And you commenting or sharing your opinion on the matter is only boosting the engagement in it. It's only boosting the morale of that content creator. It's only making that content creator a bigger being, but they don't understand that. So I don't even want to explain too much to them. I'm not mad if I get some hate every once in a while. I want people to also agree with some of the takes and understand where I'm coming from some of the takes too. But I'm not mad if every once in a while it's a whole group of whatever stands or whatever people that's like, oh, this idiot, take white mics away from people. This dummy, what's his address? Da 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 da. It's noise, but it's still engagement, and it has people feeling some type of way. And as a content creator, you're doing your job. If you are creating pieces or clips or anything that's getting people to feel a certain type of way in order to react to it. Another person that's doing this at a crazy level, and I don't understand kind of what he's doing, is Kanye. Kanye is saying whatever out of the wazoo. Why? He just wants the engagement. He was on Kendrick's side at the beginning of this beef saying, oh, watch out, K-Dot, I got you. I'm going to go get him for you. Now he's saying how Kendrick is nowhere near as good as Drake. Drake is 10 times better than Kendrick, and they can never be on the same level. All the da-da-da-da. Why? Because now it's not popular to say that Kendrick is better. Now that's the popular opinion, that Kendrick watched Drake, da-da-da-da. He now wants to have the unpopular opinion on everything. To me, that's corny, because now you're like trying to fish for outrage marketing. That's not what I think good content should do. Good content should be, you should have a soul in the content. You should have a purpose in the content. I don't respect people who just get on the internet or say whatever just for outrage. No, I respect people who think of something, come up with a premise for it, really debate and iron out the thoughts, and then share that opinion and go back and forth and banter from that. That's much better than somebody just throwing anything that's crazy at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's what Kanye is doing, and it's lazy. It's very lazy. And that's why you see less and less people interacting with it as of late, because it's like, I don't even know if you truly believe what you're saying. And even if you do, you're only saying it to get a reaction. You're not saying it because you really care or because you really want something to come from this. You only want the, oh my God, did you see what he said? Oh my God. You want to be at the top of the subject line again. You want to be current in music again. Kanye dropped the whole album. Barely anybody is even talking about it on social media. He dropped the whole visual with the whole album. Only Kanye super stans are talking about it. He's not relevant in music like he once was. And now he has to resort to these things in order to get even people to notice what he's doing. And that's the sad thing about it. Still prayers for Kanye. But that aside, yeah, keep hating and sharing your comments or loving. You know, there's nothing wrong with agreeing and understanding like, oh, context. See, context on the internet, it's like, oh, it's not even a real thing. But on to other things. I did want to shout out both Chris and SZA, but Chris specifically. Man, I'm excited. I know the Chris Brown fans might have been like, oh, this nigga hating, oh, this da-da-da-da-da. You say whatever you want. I still enjoy Chris's music. I'm just a realist and I understand things and I might share things in my perspective. And in my perspective, I'm expecting Chris Brown to have one of the best tours of the summer. I am expecting Chris Brown to have one of the best tours of this summer. It was announced on last week and I seen it on Chris's Instagram, which got me mad hype because it's like, who was expecting this? This is called the BREEZY Bowl, 20 years of Chris Brown, which is crazy that he's been around for 20 years. That makes me feel old as hell. But anyway, this tour is going to have Chris Brown, Summer Walker, and Bryson Tiller. Now, the reason why this tour to me means so much and the reason why this BREEZY Bowl is such a big and grand idea is because he's doing stadiums. He's doing stadiums, not arenas. See, I was wrong. BREEZY fans, I'll admit, I was wrong. I said in a previous clip, he wasn't able to sell out arenas. Not only did he prove that he could do that, he stepped it up even bigger now, added 2 more acts to come along with him, and is doing stadiums. Fucking round of applause. Prove me wrong. I would never want to see, I don't want to see artists fail. I don't say these things because I want to see them fail. I want to see them succeed. So what I think I want to do and what I want a lot of y'all to do, go out and support. Please make this a sellout show. Make them have to add dates. I want this BREEZY Super Bowl or BREEZY whatever bowl to be amazing because I really want fans to show the world that he really has. Like, I want people to show Chris and show the world that like he really has the strong support that people like myself at a time might not have believed that he had. I didn't know if he had the capability to do it. I'm not speaking talent because the talent has always been there. I can never question if Chris was able to do it. He's always been able to do it. I just didn't know if BREEZY fan base was strong enough to really show up for him. So I'll be in attendance. I'm there. And I hope everybody is there bringing their friends. We're going to have a drink. We're going to have a good time because not only is it Chris putting on a phenomenal show for this 20 years of Chris Brown that I can't wait to see what he really adds to it, but bringing a Summer Walker, bruh. Summer Walker and Chris, and then on top of that, Bryson fucking Tiller. I'm a Bryson stan too. Y'all, this is my bag. This is the perfect space for R&B music. Like, this is amazing. And this is what I want people to understand. I don't know if we've ever had, and I'm sweating now. Good Lord, I'm getting so hot, I'm sweating. I don't know if we have ever had R&B music be toured in stadiums. Beyonce comes from R&B music, but she does a lot of pop and stuff now. Chris Brown could be damn near one of the first artists to do like solely kind of solely R&B curated music on a mass scale that does stadiums. That's huge. That's amazing. How could you not cheer that on? So I think as a black person, as a lover of R&B music, as a lover of Chris Brown, SZA, and Bryson, we gotta show out and go crazy for this tour. This tour, and I seen a lot of people talking about it, sharing it. It needs to be more hyped than it already is. I need more people engaging with it. I need more people going crazy about getting these tickets. This tour has to be amazing because this is my thing. If Chris Brown gets a Beyonce budget to do whatever he really wants to do, this will be one of the greatest shows ever. This Chris Brown tour, if he get a Beyonce type of budget for this tour, this could be one of the greatest shows anybody has ever experienced in life. And this is what I mean by a Beyonce budget. Sometimes regular casual fans don't understand that going on tour is also expensive. It's expensive for artists to be able to book these huge venues, and it's expensive for artists to put on the type of show that they would like. Sometimes me and somebody else might be able to get on the same stage, but that person might not be able to afford the lights. That person might not be able to afford a crazy amount of crew to come along with them. That person might not be able to afford that. For a stadium, I think if Chris Brown could get a Beyonce type budget to get the visuals that he really want, to get the mass amount of dancers that he wants, to get whatever props, whatever lights, have him flying around the whole stadium or whatever, he could put on one of the best shows ever, not just in R&B, not just in whatever, because he's literally that talented and able and will go down as one of the best performers to ever grace this world, ever grace this earth, literally. Ever. So I'm excited for what Chris does, and I hope that he gets the right budget to really do what he needs to do on this tour. Because as somebody who has gone to Beyonce shows for a while, I've been to a wild number of Beyonce shows. There's a difference when you go see somebody like a Beyonce on tour and just a regular everyday artist. You know what I mean? Especially in a stadium. The one thing I noticed when I went to go see Beyonce, it was like, yeah, she's a great performer, but you walk away from that show like that was an experience. You walk away from that show paying attention to every detail of every light, every big screen, every clip that's shown, every single dancer, every design, every clothing piece, every note, everything is curated to a T. And that's because she has the budget to do it on that mass of a scale, because it's expensive. People, everyday fans don't understand it. Everyday fans might just be paying attention to the artist, but she puts that much attention into puts that much emphasis into the production of the show and makes the show 10 times better. I'm excited to see Chris Brown do it on this stadium level. I'm there. I'm excited for it. Front row. I'm there. Can't wait to see what Bryson and Summer does that on that tour as well. But enough of all that. That was very long-winded, and I know I had a lot to say about that. But other news of the week, it's been a lot of this LeBron, Stephen A. Smith going back and forth. I think because recently I seen he had went on Pat McAfee's show after they had kind of had their back and forth, and Stephen A. came on his show and said whatever. I addressed that on a couple last week's episode. My biggest thing with the LeBron and Stephen A. thing, I think at this point, they're kind of talking at each other and not to each other. It's like at some point, y'all either sit down and kind of have the conversation, or it's like, no point in kind of going back and forth and playing these media games. Because I've never seen LeBron James, especially at this point in his career, he can do whatever he wants. So that's why nobody can really say nothing. But for him to like really point out one person, or to really call out like a Brian Windhurst, or to really call out these journalists or these analysts who've been talking about him for years, to really do it now, I think it really means something. And I don't understand his reasoning for doing it all the way. Like, he even posted a video clowning Stephen A. of him punching a punching bag or whatever. And it is funny because, you know, LeBron's able to make those jokes and we're able to joke and say whatever about it. But I do think that they're misunderstanding each other in a wide way. And I don't really understand why, or how. And to me, there's a large number of the people in the media that are either sucking up to LeBron James or saying nothing. And I think Stephen A. just so happens to be one of those people that's like, I'm not kissing LeBron James' ass. I'm me. He's the head of ESPN. He did misspeak a couple times when he was, going back and forth with LeBron. But you can tell he's just more emotional about this situation more than anything, where LeBron just seems to just kind of be poking fun at it. You know what I mean? But I hope to see them resolve whatever, because I really think that there's no reason for them to have a relationship, but there's also no reason for them to kind of attack each other the way that they've been doing as of late, because the low blows that Stephen A was trying to do, like trying to say that, you know, LeBron skipped Dwayne Wade's halftime thing, or that LeBron didn't show up to Kobe's memorial, which he was dead wrong about. LeBron was that. Stephen A either needs to show proof of how LeBron has backstabbed or did any of these nasty things that he's trying to like convey to the audience that he knows that he's done, or just shut up about it. Like, cause you playing these back and forth games with somebody like a LeBron who has the power to give your not enemy, but your rival for ratings wise, like a Pat McAfee, give him that exclusive hour interview over you. It shows that he's playing a different game. But Stephen A, say what you want about him, the man has got his bag and he is remaining relevant. For LeBron to go on this type of press tour about him, kinda, which the whole Pat McAfee interview wasn't all about LeBron. I mean, about Stephen A, but that was one of the big takeaways from it. So there's a large notion, which I'm reiterating this kind of over and over, even throughout this podcast today, is just not podcast, but YouTube video. I'm just showing and noticing that outrage marketing is a thing. People talking about you good or bad is a thing, especially when it comes to engagement on social media. Like, sometimes it's better for people to be talking bad about you than to be saying nothing, especially when you're playing this content game. And that's what I'm learning. Like, yes, you want people to speak positively of you. Yes, you want people to, you know, enlighten you and to take your point of view and to understand you and this is that and the other. But sometimes the people who don't, the people who go at you, the people who say whatever, they still lift you up in a very bright, big way that you just got to be cut out for it. You know what I mean? And I think Stephen A is cut out for it. He ain't running from no smoke. So shout out to Stephen A. Prayers to Juju Smith for USC. I talked about her a couple weeks ago. Today I think she ended up tearing her ACL, if I'm not mistaken, which was very, very sad. I want to see her come back and do well next year. She's still young. Hopefully it's a speedy recovery. The NCAA tournament been good for both men's and women's. Duke, Cooper Flagg, he been putting on a show. Every time I watched him play this weekend, he did his thing. The LSU girls, they ended up losing tonight. I just finished watching that game. And I love seeing what Haley Van Lith is doing with TCU. I love seeing Paige Beckers. She was cooking for UConn. I think she had 30 last game, which was crazy. She was cooking. And obviously South Carolina doing their thing. The women's teams are more fun to watch than the men's. Men just kind of have like individual players who are really good on each team. The women's teams are like real balanced, and there's some good stars out there. But I'm still definitely going to be watching both tourneys and both men's and women's ball, because it's been pretty good. I told you, closer to like Sweet 16, Elite 8 time, this is usually the best time to start tuning in. The early rounds, it wasn't that many like huge upsets on either side, but I am back watching that. And before I get out of here too, I'm also watching this show. It's called Good American Family on Hulu. We locked into that this weekend. When I tell you, Ellen Pompeo, Grey's Anatomy, Meredith Grey, she's playing a mom in this series, and it's based off of a couple out of Indiana. I'm going to have to come back next week and give y'all a breakdown on that. That show on Hulu is fire. We watching that right now. And my sin of the week, I did not forget, is Louis Vuitton Symphony. Louis Vuitton, the brand itself, especially their fragrances, they dominate summer fragrances. If you're looking for a fragrance that's like really fresh, really like citrusy, if you want something a little bit sweeter, anything you can think of, if you want to smell like the ocean, you want to smell like the garden, you want to smell just fresh, clean, Louis Vuitton has nothing but endless options when it comes to this. They are more expensive. This Louis Vuitton Symphony, these have the main accords of citrus, fresh, spicy, and aromatic. It's a really, really good scent. The actual full bottle of it is really cool too. It's just a good citrusy, almost smells like a grapefruit type of scent. It smells really, really good. It's very fresh. It's refreshing. It lasts for a good amount of time. And I really enjoyed it when I sprayed it. expensive though. That's why I got this little 1 millimeter, size panel. I am going to end up getting a bigger one probably and go ahead and invest in it just because I like the way that the scent balanced on me and everything else. And I think it's a good mix with a couple other scents. But Louis Vuitton, when it comes to summer scents, I'm probably going to be reviewing a couple more throughout the next couple months or so, just because summertime Louis Vuitton line, you cannot go wrong with those fresh summer scents. So take some time out, go ahead and check some out. Get the smaller bottles if you can on different websites and stuff. Try to check them out first before you actually invest in a big bottle and see what you can do from there. But I think that's it for this week's episode. We got through this whole thing. I did it on a little bit of a late night. It's about 9 o'clock now, but thank y'all for rocking with me. 13 freaking weeks strong. I'm getting dragged on Twitter for old clips, but hey, you got to take the love with the hate. And if you watch this whole thing, whether you love it or whether you hate it, you watched it. So I got to respect you so much for it. Make sure you come back, like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell a friend, tell whoever you can about what we got going on over here. We 13 weeks strong, y'all. And I'm going to continue to do this thing forevermore. You know what I mean? Until then, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Salute.